Hey, what up, Coconut Crew? Tropical Zach here with another video brought to you by hikingmyownhike.net. And today is the second video in my series about what makes up my backpacking gear system. And this video is all about packing my fears. In the last video, we were talking about my first aid kit and all the components that make up that. In this video, we're going to be going through my emergency kit and all the components that make up this. Now, one of the things that you need to know about an emergency kit is that it is in general 100% contingency items, which means that you may or may not use them, or they're items that you would rather have and not need than need and not have. I'm just going to go through the items that I generally carry in this kit. Now, I may pull a couple of items out or put a couple extra items in depending on what the hike is or what the weather's like or the conditions. But in general, these are the items that are in my emergency kit on virtually every hike that I go on. I want to be able to have something that I can just throw into a day pack and go off on the hike. And so that is the purpose of the emergency kit. It has all the basic things that I need in order to be able to enjoy a short hike away from camp. Or if for some reason I happen to be out on an adventure with my backpack and there's a few extra things I need, I've got them as a backup in my emergency kit. Again, I'll admit it is packing my fears, but I'm doing it for a very specific reason. So let's go ahead and get into it. My emergency kit I keep stored in a Ziploc bag, just like I do for my first aid kit. And the reason I do that is because it's easy to find the items in this clear plastic bag, and this is relatively water resistant or waterproof. Plus, by using the slide versus the pull apart at the seam type of Ziploc bag, I'm able to open this up quite easily, even when it's cold out like it is right now, and easily access all the contents in there. So, without further ado, let's take a look at all the contents in my emergency kit. One of the most valuable items that you can have in your emergency kit is some cordage. Now, this is about 12 feet of reflective cordage. It's got great tensile strength. And the reason I bring it is that I can use it to lash items to my pack. I can use it to help create a shelter. I guess if I really wanted to be Bear Grylls, I could do it for trapping purposes, but that's not really the purpose of it. It's just to have a little bit of cordage for a variety of different reasons. I also happen to have a hair tie that wraps all of this up here, so it allows me to secure items as I need them. One of the best parts about backpacking is having a campfire, but sometimes it's a necessity rather than a luxury. And so when I'm out and I don't have my entire fire making kit, I will bring with me some of these little tinders to be able to start a fire. All I have to do is get a spark onto them, they light up, they last about 3 to 5 minutes, and then from there, they will catch any of the other little wood that I have to be able to create a fire for survival. These are lightweight, they're compact, they're perfect, and I really enjoy them in my emergency kit. Having the quick tinders are super valuable when you're out in the backcountry to be able to start a fire, but you still need to get a spark to them. I don't like to carry a lighter with me or matches with me in my emergency kit. Lighter fuel can run out, it can freeze, matches can get wet, they can break, that type of stuff. So I like to have an actual sparking device, something that I can get a spark onto the tinder quicks. And so what I found is this little combination knife and fire starter. You basically pull this open, you've got a great little knife, and then if you need it, you can use it as a sparking device right here. Probably one of the wonder tools to have while you're out backpacking is a little tube of super glue. You can use this for multiple purposes, whether it's gear repair or even first aid to close up some minor wounds. If for some reason I need to be able to get someone's attention, or I need to be able to let a search and rescue team know where I'm at, I will always carry with me in my emergency kit a whistle. Now, I know a lot of backpacks have the whistles on the sternum straps, but I carry this one in my emergency kit because, like I said, very often I'm not taking my pack on some of these shorter hikes, but I'll want to be able to have something that I can call for help with. This one happens to be pretty loud, and it works really, really well at getting people's attention. In today's world, we have come to rely on electronics and electronic navigation probably more than we should, but it's so convenient, why not? Well, one of the things is that those electronic navigations can fail. And so in my emergency kit, I always carry with me an analog compass. Now, I also know how to use the compass, and that's equally as important as having the compass itself. And then if you recall from my first aid kit video, I also have a map on the sheet of paper that has all the things I need for procedures for first aid. On the back side of that is the map of where I've been. So using that map along with this compass, I can navigate myself through any situation when I'm out in the backcountry. In the backpacking community, emergency space blankets are probably one of the most ridiculous things to carry with you, particularly if you're an ultralight backpacker. However, I do carry one in my emergency kit, and I carry it for a very specific reason. Number one, I can use it to reflect heat back to me if I happen to be cold and I don't have enough garments on. Two, I can use it to make an emergency shelter. I can use it as a ground cloth. But the primary reason that I carry an emergency space blanket, and particularly this one that's orange, is because I can deploy it and use it as a signaling device when search and rescue is out looking for me. Having something this big and being able to wave it around will get the attention of just about anyone that is looking for you. I'm a big believer in leave no trace. I think it's a very valuable philosophy for the backcountry use. However, from time to time, I will go off of durable surfaces and I'll do a little bit of bushwhacking. Now, if I think I'm going to be bushwhacking in a way where I might have some challenges finding my way back to the main trail, I'll always bring with me these little ribbons. They're basically survey ribbons. I will tie them to a tree limb or a brush or something like that. And that way they'll act as a blaze to help me get back to the main trail from wherever it is that I went out to. When you're out in the backcountry and you have an equipment failure, you don't have a lot of resources to draw from. However, you do often need some basic tools, a screwdriver, maybe a knife, a file, something like that, pair of pliers. And so having a multi-tool is a great thing to have. I, in particular, use the Gerber dime. I think it's a fantastic tool. It's got a pair of pliers in it right here. It's got knives, screwdrivers, files, scissors. It's got all sorts of things in it. And of course, it's got a bottle cap opener just in case I need that. As I mentioned with the multi-tool, doing gear repair in the backcountry can be challenging because you don't have a lot of resources. And when you're trying to do gear repair with fabrics, it can be even more difficult, particularly if you're trying to sew. As you remember from my first aid kit, I talked about carrying a suture with me primarily for gear repairs of fabrics, to do some sewing repairs. But one of the best and easiest ways to do fabric repair in the backcountry is to use a product like Tenacious tape. This is a simple product. It's basically stick and go, and it's a permanent fix for whatever fabric. I particularly appreciate it when I'm dealing with down. If I slice or cut my down jacket or pants or something of that nature and I start having down come out, I don't want that. So I'll put some Tenacious tape right over it, fixes it, no problem after that. When I'm out in the backcountry, I don't like to carry my wallet with me, but I do like to make sure that I've got some identification and a way to pay for things when I get back to civilization if I am off trail and I don't end up back at my vehicle. So I always carry a little bit of cash with me along with a credit card and my driver's license. They don't weigh that much and they take up very little space, and I just keep them in my emergency pack. A lot of times when I am actually going and doing those little day hikes or summit hikes or foraging hikes, and I think I've got plenty of daylight, I won't worry about bringing my headlamp with me. But what if I miscalculated the amount of daylight that I had? So to make up for that, I've got this little thumb light right here that puts out a fair amount of light. And with that, I can find my way back into camp, or if I need it for looking at gear or navigation, something of that nature, I've got a great little light that doesn't take up a lot of space and doesn't weigh a lot. Before I leave to go out on any type of backpacking trip, I make sure that all of my electronics are fully charged. And then when I get to my campsite, I put them onto my battery bank and make sure that I charge them up. However, when I go out on a quick little day hike from a campsite, or maybe a foraging hike or a summit hike, I want to make sure that I've got my electronics charged as much as possible. And if they lose juice, I need to be able to have a way to charge them back up. I don't think solar charging is very effective, so I carry with me one of these little charging packs right here. I use it for my inReach. It only has about 2,900 milliamps to it, so it's just enough to get a charge into it and let it run for a couple of hours. That way I can get an SOS message off, or I can use it for navigation, something of that nature. This does not replace my battery bank that I carry with me in backpacking. I just keep it in my emergency kit in case I need it. Easily one of the most useful items that you will find anywhere, whether you're in the backcountry or you're in the front country, is zip ties. These things are amazing, and I always carry a couple of these with me. They are the reusable ones, so you can connect them, and then there's a little tab that you can detach them. They're great for lashing items to your pack or lashing items together. They just have a variety of uses. I always carry just a couple of them with me, and they work out great. Before I go out on one of my little away from camp hikes, I always make sure that I have plenty of water with me. But once I'm out there, I may run out of water and I'm not bringing my filter with me, so I need a way to be able to make sure and purify the water. Filtering is easy, I can get the sediment out of it, but purifying it, that's a little bit different. And since I'm not taking cookware with me, I can't build a fire and boil the water. So I'll always bring with me a couple of these little potable aqua tabs that I can put into my water container, let them do their thing, and that way I have purified water that I can drink until I can get back to base camp. Easily the most valuable item I have in my emergency kit, as well as my first aid kit, as a matter of fact, in my entire backpacking kit, is my ability to problem solve. Problem solving skills are essential to successful backpacking. It doesn't matter if you are really good at building a fire or really good at navigation, you're going to come up with some type of problems while you're out in the backcountry. And to be able to resolve those by using the items that you have, using things in nature, just kind of figuring out how to MacGyver stuff, that's going to make a huge difference for you. So developing those problem solving and critical thinking skills are going to be the single most valuable skill set you can have for successful backpacking. So that's a quick summary of my emergency kit. It is small, compact, it is lightweight, it has everything that I need in it to be able to have a successful endeavor away from my base camp without having to go and take all of the items out of all the different kits to be able to make another kit for a day hike or a summit hike or a foraging hike or something like that. So just having something like this, quick, simple, throw it in my day pack, easy to go. Hey, thanks again for watching. I really appreciate your time. And if you didn't watch the first aid kit video, please go ahead and click the link right up here. You'll be able to do that. And I would love it if you would take a moment to subscribe to the channel, maybe give a thumbs up, or even better yet, leave a comment down below, because that helps me have a conversation with you about what you may have in your emergency kit or what I can improve on mine, and it helps other people find this content. Until next time, just remember, every day gets better and better. Thanks for watching.